Pornography is not a relatively new product by any means. Despite how taboo it may be viewed as now, we as humans have engaged in pornographic material for thousands of years. Though the pornography seen thousands of years ago is, well, nothing to how it is now. Depictions of ancient pornography can be seen here in art forms like in the Greek pottery or in the walls of Pompeii.
Yeah, pornography really didn't start to become so widespread until the 1950s when Hugh Hefner published the first Playboy magazine. From that point on, we see pornography take on a whole new lens.
Coming relatively soon after pornographic magazines, pornography was available on VCR in the 1980s. Up until this point, you had to show your ID in order to purchase pornographic content, just like you would need to show your ID to purchase alcohol. This was to prevent pornographic material from getting in the hands of minors, especially young children.
Yet in the 1990s, pornography took a grand turn for the worst and became easily accessible to nearly everyone and for one reason only: the rise of the internet. Ever since then, pornography usage continues to rise in views every year, exposing more and more younger generations as time goes on. This leads us to ask three questions. How has the normalization of porn increased its ability to be exposed to minors on platforms such as social media?
How does pornography truly affect men's health and relationships?
And how does pornography endorse the sexualization of young girls?
Something unique about this day and age's pornography is not necessarily due to the internet or searching mechanic itself, but social media. In the early 2000s, most online pornography had to be searched for, in other words, desired. Yet in recent years, pornography, or softcore pornography, has managed to seep its way into social media ads and content without requiring the consumer to ever show interest in it. OnlyFans is a popular website created in 2016 for influencers to post exclusive content that fans need to pay for. It wasn't long before OnlyFans became a website many knew for the amount of creators posting adult content on it. Sometimes, on Instagram, popular meme accounts, originally meant for posting jokes and funny content, will advertise actors' OnlyFans, often with captions such as, "She has a free OnlyFans," or "Her OnlyFans is 50% off for 3 days." The advertisements are often incredibly lewd, picturing half naked women such as this or this. These are both real examples of advertisements seen on the meme page at Toad. Instagram is a social media website advertised as appropriate for those 13 plus. Pornography and adult content is illegal for minors, people 17 and under, to watch. On top of this, Instagram's community guidelines for posts indicate, for a variety of reasons, we don't allow nudity on Instagram. This includes photos, videos, and some digitally created content that shows sexual intercourse, genitals, and close ups of fully nude buttocks. It also includes some photos of female nipples. If these pictures aren't convincingly against the guidelines enough, for advertisements, Instagram's guidelines say that adult products and services are prohibited. Is pornographic OnlyFans content considered an adult product or service? It must not be for Meta, Instagram's current owner, though I suppose billions of dollars in revenue are worth more than minors being exposed to pornography. Some celebrities have even opened up about their young exposure to pornography and how it has affected them. The following clip is of Billie Eilish on a YouTube channel advocating to stop pornography use titled "Fight the New Drug."
I started watching porn when I was like 11. I think it really destroyed my brain.
With pornography showing up through advertisements and becoming normalized through social media, the amount of minors that are exposed to pornography will increase. This only damages and hurts mental as well as physical health, which will be thoroughly discussed in our second essential question.
There is no doubt that the social norms of today's society have changed. Pornography has risen as a very concerning topic that affects everyone in intimate relationships and family relationships, especially men. Some of the common damaging effects of pornography for users can include addiction, isolation, increased aggression, distorted perceptions about relationships and sexuality, negative feelings about themselves, and neglecting other areas of their lives. Because of the private nature of pornography, individuals often struggle with wanting to discuss their issues with others. Watching too much pornography can cause addiction and have a strong negative effect on the brain, as discussed in this short clip.
What pornography does is it puts a straitjacket on our mind to say, no, this is the only thing I'm interested in, and then ultimately that any kind of compulsion is destructive.
Pornography can desensitize young males. Watching pornography can lead to addiction simply from the hormones that are released during self-gratification because the brain releases extraordinary amounts of dopamine when engaged in sexual stimulation. This release of dopamine, while alone, will positively reinforce that isolated behavior. Pornography fosters aggression by normalizing and depicting verbal and physical violence as enjoyable. Aggressive acts against women in pornography occur in roughly 87% of the scenes, and 95% of the time, when these acts are committed, women respond with expressions of pleasure or neutrality, according to the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Pornography acts as a form of sexual education, teaching the lesson that female sexual partners ought to enjoy physical acts such as hitting, gagging, slapping, or non consensual sex. Mainstream pornography use by frequent viewers is associated with greater intent to commit rape, a real danger for domestic abuse victims or survivors. Behaviors like threatening, isolating, gaslighting are hallmarks of domestically abusive relationships. Sometimes abusers use couple made pornography to coerce or punish victims in abusive relationships by threatening to or actually sharing them. While many consider pornography as a resource to enhance sexual pleasure within a healthy relationship, the ongoing use of pornography is often an indicator of disconnection and dissatisfaction. Pornography creates unrealistic sexual expectations that real sex between partners cannot deliver on. It's a world in which both men and women are ultimately devalued. For men, it is a one dimensional release that sets them up for disconnecting from real sexual partners. It diminishes essential trust and harms the self esteem of the partner not engaged with it. According to the Australian Institute of Family Studies, pornography can influence a young person's expectations about sex. For example, what young men expect their partners to do, and vice versa. It can shape sexual practices, with studies finding that young people may try performing common sexual acts seen in pornography. In addition to the health of men, pornography also affects young girls by sexualizing them, which leads to our last essential question.
The sexualization of young women due to pornography can be most simply seen through the use of buzzwords such as barely legal, teen, and student teacher. This show is endorsing these thoughts and leaves room for a larger audience to view these types of media, such as videos and images, adding to the over sexualization of young girls. It can also be seen in other forms of media, such as something called the Lolita effect. This is described as a sexualization of girls at a young age. The meaning of Lolita, the novel and film, shifted from being viewed as raising awareness of a horrible situation to leading the interest in young girls. It depicts an inappropriate relationship between an older man and his stepdaughter, a then 12-year-old girl. There is definitely confusion in regards to the story and characters. As stated by the BBC, it's this lack of context in the imagery of Lolita that leads to a fundamental retrospective misunderstanding of the character and story. The new name now a proxy term for a type of bratty coquettishness. It is hard to wrap your head around the fact that this is something genuinely enjoyed by people, as disgusting as it is. As a result of these ideas endorsed by pornography, individuals on social media began taking things too far. Younger celebrities such as Millie Bobby Brown were targeted by predators who were counting down to her 18th birthday to legally sexualize them. According to Cosmopolitan, elsewhere on social media, people recalled other times child celebrities were sexualized ahead of their 18th birthday, including the likes of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, Britney Spears, and Emma Watson. This is an issue that is familiar to many, as we have most likely heard about the lengths people go to. Examples are Reddit countdowns created to say and post off-putting statements and images as soon as the celebrity is legal. Being in the spotlight at such a young age has the potential of taking a damaging toll on mental health, especially now when young girls are gaining more and more access to social media. This allows a greater chance of them being exposed and believing they need to conform to these ideas. There are a lot of factors that surround this in looking at where it could have been developed, but a prominent one is the same predators who make these comments. It is quite upsetting as these victims are children, but nonetheless, it is something that needs to be discussed more in order to raise awareness.
In this video, we have discussed only a few of the many negative detriments associated with pornography. Pornography is incredibly easy for children to access due to social media. Something that can help prevent this is for social media platforms to better regulate their posts and advertisements from users.
Pornography has shown to have negative and damaging effects on men's health and their relationships. To change this, men would have to willingly be open to rehabilitation and self recovery. We need to be able to face the fears of what life would be like without pornography.
In a world engulfed by pornography, girls at a young age are sexualized in the eyes of the media. To help combat over-sexualization, educate teenagers on the negative aspects of pornography, and have uncomfortable conversations meant to help their understanding of why many ways women are depicted in media are harmful. Pornography needs to be reevaluated and identify values to provide motivation for change.